Hey, shalom to the hopeful elect. First and foremost, I'd like to give all honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone who teach the truth and rule well. This is the brother Yatabi Allah coming back from the GMS SF Bay Area camp. And I got a quick lesson today. All right, Lord's will is edifying. But I'm going to start here in 2 Ezra 14 and 13. And it says, Now therefore set thine house in order, and reprove thy people, comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. All right. And when you read up, it talks about the 12 parts of the world and how basically we're heading into the end of the world. And when, it goes into that word world, it means the age. All right. We're heading into the end of an age. All right. It's the end of Esau's rulership. It's the end of the heathen being able to control the world. All right. And what are we heading into? We're heading into the age of Yasharallah. All right, the kingdom of Israel being established. But before that, there are certain prophecies that have to play out. All right. Now, our job is what? To therefore set thine house in order. We have to get our mind right. All right. And that's, all that encompasses getting our house in order is our mind, our bodies. All right. Our actual households, our families, and understanding what times we're in. All right. We're not in the times to party. We're not in the time to live it up in this place, because this place is about to be destroyed. Okay. It says, and reprove thy people, comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. All right. And knowing the truth, knowing the 100% truth, and knowing that Yahushua is almost here, there's going to be a great judgment that takes place. All right. And Lord's will, we'll get into it. But hey, Jacob's trouble, let me get that real quick and I'll jump back. Hey, Jacob's trouble is approaching. All right. And it's not called Jacob's trouble for no reason. This is Jeremiah 30. It says, I'll start at verse 5. It says, For thus saith the Lord, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. All right. Hey, because the Lord is going to take back his mercy from this place. And what is he going to do? He's going to let the floodgates of judgment just open. All right. And especially on our people, because our people are most wicked. All right. That's why you have something called the 2/3, especially over here in America. But you have the wicked of our people that are going to be here for the time of judgment. It says, Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. All right. And women don't have children. Men don't have children. All right. Contrary to what this society tries to push out, men do not have children. All right. Men do not have the biology to have a child. But here it is. Jeremiah is seeing what? He's seeing a man with his hands on his loins like a woman in travail. All right. Looking like a woman that's in labor. When a woman goes through those labor pains, what happens? She's in real pain. But he's seeing men like this. And why is that? Verse 7, Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. And so this is what's going to happen. There's going to be a time of trouble. Okay? And when you read that in the NLT, it says, in all history, there has never been such a time of terror. Okay? Terror. It will be a time of trouble for my people Israel, yet in the end they shall be saved. All right. But ultimately, this go around, the elect are the only ones that are going to be saved. Okay. And the wicked of our people are going to be caught up in this trouble. All right. That's why it's called Jacob's trouble. But there's going to become a time of such terror, of trouble. And let's see what that word trouble means. Just want to see what they say in the BLB. Sarah. Straits, distress, trouble, vexer, rival wife. All right. But it's what? It's adversity, affliction, anguish, distress, tribulation, trouble. And this is the times we're coming into. And it says there's never been such a time of this, of what's coming. All right. And Jeremiah's seen men with, looking like they were in pain. All right. This is what's coming to this place. And this is why, all right, we have to be in order. Okay. We have to set our house in order. We have to reprove thy people, back in 2 Ezra 14 and 13. Comfort such of them that be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. So we have to renounce this place, because ultimately those who are going to be caught up in that Jacob's trouble, who don't have a way out, who are not going to be saved, are because they're not renouncing corruption. Okay, they're furthering corruption. They're walking hand in hand with corruption. And this place ultimately is that corrupted place. All right, Babylon. All right, this whole system, the beast system, it's all corrupted. And Esau, he's about to push forth his stamp or his badge to where he's going to offer it to you. And if you take it, you're going to accept this corruption. You're going to want to serve this corruption. All right. And the Lord has a certain judgment for those people who accept it. All right. Revelation, the 14th chapter. But hey, all in all, we're heading into this time of very much trouble. Okay. So we have to be in order. We have to reprove our people. All right. And especially knowing the truth, knowing that, you know, the MOTB is indeed the R to the FIDC hip. Okay. And comfort such of them that be in trouble. How do we comfort them? We comfort them through these scriptures. We comfort them through the hope, all right, in the mercy, in the belief, in the faith in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Because he said what? My servants shall eat. Okay? He says if we lose our life, what should we expect to gain it in the kingdom to come? All right? It says, seek ye now the kingdom, and all else will be added unto you. It says, verse 14, let go from the mortal thoughts. And everything here that goes on in this place, all right, your day-to-days, okay, you know, the things that as a man you have to, you know, you have to do, those are mortal thoughts. I mean, does it mean just totally neglect them? No, you know, you take care of business, but those shouldn't be weighing you down. All right, it says, cast away the burdens of man. And we know we got to take care of business, but ultimately, the Lord is about to get us up out of here. The Lord's will we're of that number. Okay? We have to put off now the weak nature, and the weak nature, okay, is this flesh. The things here, the mundane things we do here, all right, and are comforted here is weak, okay? Because this is not our rest. The flesh wants to be comforted here. Okay, the flesh wants us to feed into certain distractions, all right, ultimately, you know, brought upon by Satan, okay, but we have to put that off, because what comes next? Immortality, okay, a crown of righteousness, a joint heirship with Yahushai, if we but endure, if we put off these mortal thoughts, okay, if we get ourselves in order, if we focus and lock in. It says in verse 15, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. And that's the point. We're seeing what's going on here. All right, if you're in the news, if you're on your watch, if you're measuring the times, you know that this place is getting ready to implode. All right, and explode. All right, with those thermonuclear weapons. Okay, hey, it's going, it's popping off more and more in Ukraine. Okay, you know, you can see the tension between China, America, Russia, America. All right, you see all these alliances being formed. You have these BRIC system going into the economy. Okay, you just seen what was it? They struck a deal to just basically have no debt ceiling. Okay, what is that going to do? All these are going to lead to bad times. Okay. So there's no reason why we should be caught up trying to party here. This isn't our rest. This isn't our time to party. All right. We want to get the fuck up out of here. And we're hasting to flee these times, because we know that great tribulation is coming. What we read it in Jeremiah, the 30th chapter, a time like no other. All right. And if we don't have the foundation, if we are not fully secure, and we don't have that hedge, hey, we're going to get caught up out here. So that's why we need to be locked in now more than ever. Okay. It says, for yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. And that's the point. Great evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. You know, and like I mentioned before, if you're on your watch, you can see that, you know, a famine's approaching. You know, all these different articles that come out, you know, going into, you know, the farmland being bought up. you know, the processing plants that are being destroyed. Okay, the agenda of the 2030, you know, what do they say, like reducing, you know, carbon emissions, reducing nitrogen emissions, you know, and they link that all to the cows and the different farms. All right, this is all playing into famine. Revelation, the 12th chapter. Okay, because the Lord is using Esau on the left hand side to put this pressure, okay, to where, you know, Esau thinks that he's going to, you know, gain control and have that badge being the MOTB for you to accept his control. Okay, but nonetheless, this is all coming from Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. And with Esau's establishment of his NWO, all right, with this new, you know, great resets, as he calls it, all right, the 2030 agenda, all these things, whatever you want to call it, with that comes what? Great oppression, okay? Great evils, all right? It says, for yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. And this is the times we're coming into. So we have to what? We have to haste to flee from these times. All right, we have to put off the weak nature. Okay? Let me jump over here. And we're seeing these things, all right? Let me go to BLB. We're seeing these things play out in prophecy. All right, that's why we have to be on our watch. Matthew 24 and well, yeah, I'll start at verse 3. All right, it says, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came privately, saying, tell us when these things shall be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world. Okay, like it mentioned in Esdras, all right, it mentioned the end of the world, the 12 parts of the end of the world, roughly paraphrasing, the 12 parts of the world, all right, and what's coming into the end of the world. Now the disciples are asking, what are the signs of the end of the world? And it doesn't mean the earth being, you know, done away with. It means the end of an age, okay? And it says, and Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. All right, you have a lot of false anointed. You have a lot of these, you know, so-called leaders set up. A lot of these so-called, you know, saviors, but they're all set up to deceive. Hell, even Esau, Edom, all right, is playing him like he's a savior, like he has the answers, like this whole new world order, this green agenda, all right, is going to be the salvation of humanity. But that is deception, okay? But it says, and you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. All right, and we read in Esdras that more evils are going to come, and we've already seen these things. All right, we've seen the wars, we've seen the rumors of wars. All right, but it's not the end yet. It says, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. And this is exactly what we're seeing going on. Okay, it says famines, pestilences, and earthquakes. You got the famines being brewed up, more pestilences. They talk about there's a new one, I forgot what they call it, Nororona or something like that. Okay, but all these different, you know, pestilences in place, there's gonna be real ones that the Lord is gonna let loose, right? And if he uses Esau to do so, he can do it. Okay, and earthquakes. Oh, there was just an earthquake the other day. All right, in all different parts of the world. But it says what? All these are the beginning of sorrows. Okay? And then they shall deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for not my name's sake. And again, that persecution is coming. Okay? But see, we're heading into the time of these prophecies coming to pass. We're heading into the time of judgment. All right? And rightfully so, because these people do not want to listen. What is that? Proverbs, the 1st chapter. All right. What does it say? And it says, and there's no excuse. All right. Because the wisdom, the knowledge, all right, is readily available. The warnings are going out. So there's no excuse for our people to turn their hand other than prophecy. All right. Well, we're right here, Proverbs 1:20. It says, wisdom warns. Wisdom crieth without. She uttereth her voice in the streets. She crieth in the chief place of concourse. In the openings of the gates. In the city she uttereth her words, saying, how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Okay, because you have the prophets out there in the cities, on the highways and byways, warning. Okay, and this is the warning. Turn yet my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. So the Lord is making known what is coming. All right, there's no excuse. And this is the point. Because I have called and you refused, I have stretched out my hand and no man regardeth, but you have set at naught all my counsel with none of my reproof. So here it is. You have the prophets. All right. Well, the Lord is using the prophets to preach the word. Okay. His word. But here it is. You have the majority of our people not taking heed to the counsel, not taking heed to the reproof. Our people hate correction. All right. Our people hate criticism. So what's going to happen? I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. Okay? And we read it in Jeremiah. Hey, the things that are coming is like no other. These people out here are going to be, well, the scriptures say that, some of these people are just going to be dropping dead. All right? Well, a lot of people are going to be dropping dead. But it says their hearts failing them for fear for these things coming upon the earth. All right. But the Lord said, I will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh, because you had no excuse. You outright denied the truth. It says, when your fear cometh as desolation and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you. All right. And let's just see what that word anguish means. Anguish. It says constraint, distress, distress, anguish, pressure, distress. All right. Troublous. Okay. It says, when your fear cometh as desolation and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. Okay. And this is what's going to happen. When all these troubles are coming, when the Lord just lets loose the floodgates, you're going to try and call upon the Lord, but the Lord ain't going to hear you, because you had all this time to get your house in order. You had all this time to lock in. Okay. You had all this time to store up this knowledge and wisdom. But what did you do? All right. You were into the world. You wanted to be a part of the corruption instead of renouncing the corruption. So what's the Lord going to do? He's going to pull back that hedge. All right. And he's just going to let loose. And, that famine is coming. The famine of the word. All right. Amos, the 8th chapter. It says, for that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord. They would none of my counsel. They despised all my reproof. And that's a big thing. Okay. When you don't choose the fear of the Lord. All right. The fear of the Lord is important. And we went over this in camp last week. All right. That fear of the Lord the scriptures say the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Okay. It's the beginning of the Lord accepting you. So if you don't want to choose the fear, okay, and you'd rather, fear Esau or whatever you fear, what's going to happen? The Lord is going to pull back his hedge and he's going to let loose. It says, they would none of my counsel. They despised all my reproof. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own devices. So since you wanted to continue in corruption, all right, you wanted to continue in a death style, then the Lord is going to let you be filled with your own devices, and that is death. Okay, but the way it's coming is not going to be an easy death. All right. It says, for the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. And you're a foolish person if you want to accept the prosperity here. You want to be comfortable in the so-called prosperity, because this ain't even true prosperity. It's a lie. It's all a facade. But you're a fool if you think so. All right. But whoso hearken unto me shall dwell safely and shall be quiet from fear of evil. And that's the point. All right. Hey, if you hearken unto the Lord, if you get your house in order, all right, you understand what's coming on this earth. Okay, a time like no other, a judgment like no other, and you hearken unto the Lord, okay? You renounce corruption. What's going to happen? You're going to dwell safely. If you are of the elect, if you are written, all right, in the book of life, and you are chosen, you are predestinated from before everything was created, all right, what's going to happen? The Lord is going to let you dwell safely, and you shall be quiet from fear of evil. Ultimately, you're going to be saved. All right? Hey, Lord's will, this was edifying. Once again, call Halayim Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect and above all.